Yeah, I have.
And who is Danish Ansari?
If you have asked me a question, please allow me, if you don't get an answer which you have a template in your mind, then you ask me a probing question. Number two, politicization, I agree. Fundamentally, I am in sync with you. Today, if you have watched, and I wish you had watched the press conference of Mr. Nitish Kumar, the CM, there was smirk on his face the second day after the bomb blast. He was sharing jokes. Instead of admitting...
Stop politicizing it. Again, you are using this to score political brownie points. I will not allow you to do so. Answer my question.
Really. If there is a one person who has faced genuine personal anguish at what happened, it's Mr. Nitish Kumar. To judge it by facial expressions, which are his conclusion of how he was feeling, it's a great shame. It's a great shame. Don't talk about body language. Let's not start analyzing the body language of Mr. Lalu Yadav. Please, for God's sake, don't reduce this debate to such cheap gimmicks.
Arnab, if you have asked me a question, let me allow to complete.
You have not answered my question, and my question for you
on the issue of terrorism.
You are not even answering my question. 1 second. You tell. My question is simple. Who is Danish Ansari? And why was Danish Ansari arrested in January this year?
None can deny. None can deny there are sleeping cells. But please make sure that when you use this module term for the entire territory, for an entire community, we are damaging...
Nobody is using it for a community.
Terrorism.
No, where is the reference to a community?
No,
Abhishek Singhvi.
I tell you.
Abhishek Singhvi. No, let me go back to Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, why do you think this is a very unilateral point of view? Ravi Shankar Prasad, coming back to you. Would you admit that both, maybe Digvijay Singh,
let me tell you,
and the RJD...
If it is... let me...
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You got the question.
Arnab, first of all, you asked a direct question. Let me give you a direct answer. As far as I am concerned, and I speak for the Congress, it would not matter one jot if it is Danish Ansari, David Headley, or any other person of any other third religion. It doesn't matter at all. Let me make it very clear. Yes, if there is a Danish Ansari, he has to be dealt with strongly according to law, just like a David Headley and the third religion man has to be. But the point is, do not react in the first aftermath of the 24-48 hours along with insinuations. Just step back, Arnab. At the end of the day, what are we doing? We are taking one fact, that there was an intelligence report. Then we are taking a fact that there was obviously some lapse at the state government level, which is the other law and order. And then so what? So we tom-tom it? Now the point is, you have to have full information, let them go after the people, let more material come, and then at least you can have a more informed debate. We're all giving our opinions which are purely selective, I think, and very, very patchy and very incomplete.
No, I think there is, I think
no government.
I think there is very specific information. There is very specific information. The specific information is this: who was going to target Bodh Gaya? And the information with your Delhi police, which reports to your home ministry, and the Delhi police is also being questioned by Mr. Digvijay Singh. Your government, your Delhi police, which you supervise, says that Bodh Gaya was to be targeted by the Indian Mujahideen. So I want you to tell Ravi Shankar Prasad directly today, where did he go wrong? Are you saying just he should not have said anything after the blast?
No, I am saying that on the contrary, from what you are saying, it is rightly established that intelligence failure was not there or was minimal. Post-intelligence, there well could be an operational failure on the ground. And I would be the first to say it, but of course we have to be ready to believe also that the terrorist has to be right once. The police at the ground level has to be right all the time. Now therefore, intelligence has been there, luckily for us in this case, and possibly because of intelligence, the damage was relatively, and I say relatively, less than what it might have been.
Well, I don't know. Again, you're drawing conclusions which don't exist.
Do we start creating a morale situation, or do we start creating a breastfeeding situation and say the whole system has failed? Or now, can I come in here?
Ravi Shankar Prasad is now responding to you. He's not outside. We're opening the debate. Yes, Mr. Prasad.
No political mileage.
Yes. Mr. Prasad.
This kind of tragedy.
Arnab, first of all, two things. I think Pavan Verma has a very valid point that Nitish Kumar's body language should not be a matter of this debate. That will be demeaning this debate. And the representative of RJD has also a valid point coming from my own state of Bihar myself. You cannot call Darbhanga model or Madhubani model as if trying to paint the entire district as something linked to terror. But yes, I must acknowledge today what we have been articulating when we were a part of the government. that out of the 14 Indian Mujahideen terrorists who were arrested in the last couple of years, 13 were picked up from Bihar. Something what your Times of India has also publicly written today. That is indeed a matter of concern. I don't wish to politicize, but the very fact that being close to Nepal border, its areas around are trying to become some of the hub, and that Bhatkal was very much there in those areas trying to recruit, there has to be an urgency to ensure that these things are checked, nipped in the bud because of the looming terrorist threat. The second part is, or no, I think what Abhishek needs to understand, that sheer providence saved a damage to the sanctum sanctorum of that great sacred site of at Bodh Gaya where Lord Buddha got enlightenment. I think we need to understand, and that legitimate question what Pavan Verma said, that outer periphery has been beefed up. I'm sure no one came from the sky and paratroop to install all those bombs. I'm not wishing to politicize or no, but such a serious terrorist attack of enormous magnitude, of untold implications. Certainly legitimate.
But where is your responsibility? No, where is your responsibility? Mr. Prasad, Mr. Prasad.
Short intervention. Short intervention.
Short intervention coming.
Yes,
Short intervention. Yes, Dr. Singhvi.
Yeah, short from me also.
Only this. I mean, Ravi Shankar Prasad ji has tried his very best to be and to make political comments while professing to be non-political. But since he is so fond of making a political comment, let me ask him a straight political question. For 2 years, you just said 13 out of 14, the figure you gave. In those 2 years, I did not hear you or the BJP making a single sound about it. So is it not highly political on terror also that you decide to say so just because you parted ways with the
That's a good counter response.
Therefore, is also
you are being accused of opportunism. The accusation is of opportunism, and Ravi Shankar Prasad, may I add?
Yes,
May I add to that? May I add one thing before you reply?
Let me reply to it. I come from Bihar. I was a part of government, Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi. You were not. We had conveyed our concern very seriously. But being a part of the government, we cannot say it publicly. But we have been articulating our concerns. Today, when we are not a part of the government, I am taking the liberty to saying it publicly. But to say that we have not been raising is grossly unfair.
While Ravi Shankar Prasad, to that take my counter. Rajiv, Mr. Prasad.
Arnab, on terror,
ministers have been doing that.
On terror,
but Home Ministry, Home Ministry belongs to the
raise it in a quiet letter.
Policing belongs to the Chief Minister.
You assert yourself.
My question
on terror, you shout, you take action, you assert yourself. You don't just make a quiet internal letter.
Say something.
Complaint.
That's a good point.
Convenience cannot be.
That's a good point. That's a good point. The charge is, at this point of the Newshour debate is this.
And JDU were part of the government.
1 second. On that point.
One small intervention, Arnab.
Yes, Mr. Verma.
Small intervention. 3 points I want to make. First of all, Ravi Shankar ji is a good friend. But I think it is the height of political expediency to say that when we were in government we were quiet, and now that 1 month after they have broken, something happens, and to claim a certain high ground on a subject. I think
Mr. Pavan Verma, don't quote me wrongly, Mr. Pavan Verma, please.
Number one.
No, Pavan Verma, I'm sorry for interrupting you. You are quoting me wrongly. I said within the government we had conveyed our concerns.
Let me finish, sir.
Don't quote me wrongly then.
Secondly, sir, Arnab, I think...
All right.
Arnab, secondly, I think terrorism has no color, caste, creed or religion. To now start giving it this kind of complexion in our discussion is most unfortunate. And thirdly, terrorism as a threat needs to be countered. But it's not as if
Mr. Verma,
game can start.
But Mr. Verma, I want to know if Mr.
30 seconds more.
No, I want to know Ravi Shankar Prasad. Let me come in. I want to know if Ravi Shankar Prasad will be honest enough on the program today to make a frank admission, therefore, that what his own party colleague said was incorrect. Because if Mr. Prasad right now, 30 seconds back, tells you I didn't say that and correct yourself, he has the right to say so. But Mr. Prasad, may I remind you, your party colleague Rajiv Rudy said, this is a low intensity but professional blast. And he goes on to say, since the BJP has gone out of power, the law and order situation has gone back to the Lalu days. Now I want to ask you, sir, the JDU-BJP split happened on the 16th of June. How many days does that make it, sir? 2.5 weeks? You're telling me that in 2.5 weeks things have gone back? In 2.5 weeks things have changed, and before that 2.5 weeks back everything was okay? You're telling me that whoever attacked the Bodh Gaya temple decided that now that the BJP is out of power,
kind of politics.
now that the BJP...
That's the most murky kind of politics. They were together in October, November when they input came.
Really
What did they
regrettable.
do?
No, do you honestly, one second, do you honestly believe that the law and order situation in Bihar will deteriorate because you're not part of the government in the state in 2 weeks?
Arnab, when Brahmeshwar Mukhi...
Let him reply. Let him reply. Let him reply, Mr. Jha.
They were part of the government.
Let him now reply.
Arnab, what Rudy is trying to highlight, which we are feeling on the ground in Bihar, that the BJP with 91 MLAs was a strong pillar of stability and was also an important rationale for good governance.
Sir.
All the BJP ministers, including Deputy CM, were performing well. Please listen to me. Allow me to reply. What has happened is, what is the ground reality? There's a profound sense of unease in Bihar, politically speaking. Within the JDU, it is having its own toll. What Rudy did was only to articulate that concern. If a specific case of Bodh Gaya is concerned, what I am only trying to say, that this incident, with a little effort, could have been prevented in view of the voluminous evidence we have been talking earlier. It was not done. Surely later on we will have to examine that.
Sir.
But merely because a concern has been raised with legitimate foundations, therefore we are trying to politicize this costly unfair one. Secondly, I
take a consensus.
Just one thing, Arnab, please. And even I repeat that as far as the Indian Mujahideen Party is concerned, within the government we have been repeatedly conveying our concern.
No.
But being a part of the government, we will certainly refrain from saying it publicly.
Gentlemen, 1 second. You see, I had a follow-up question to the Congress party, which I felt Mr. Singhvi would also be in a spot answering my next question, just like Ravi Shankar Prasad was non-admittedly in a spot answering that one. But I see two hands go up. Two hands are very animated. Both Mr. Pavan Verma and Manoj Jha unhappy with your answer. They want to rebut you. Dr. Singhvi, with your permission, I'll take those quick rebuts and then I have my question to you. Quick rebuts to Ravi Shankar Prasad, why you're not satisfied with the BJP's defense. Who goes first? Pavan Verma and Manoj Jha. Together, please. Yes, Pavan Verma first.
You know, to say, as Mr. Rudy has done, to say that within 2.5 weeks law and order has broken down in Bihar, if this is not a classic example of political one-upmanship without any substance, I cannot really remember any other recent development. You've been part of a government for 8 years. And you come out after 2.5 weeks and claim that things have completely broken down. There is no sense of unease in the JDU.
Manoj Jha.
Arnab, I'll go back to the previous, the way Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad was answering. What I find very strange, that apart from the likes of some of the Congress leaders, Mr. Prasad's party has been very sincere in politicization of terror. Today, if we are suffering on account of fight against terror, also because of the fact that there are people from within the BJP who give a definite shift and clue to fight against terror. Number one. Number two, there are terror threats on India.
It is rubbish.
From
That's all I can
say.
It is rubbish.
And we cannot deny that there are terror threats from within and of a particular color.
Well, I think if you're trying to speak about what has been loosely and perhaps wrongly
Goswami, I don't think I need a certificate about fight against terror from the RJD representative.
Now, my question is to Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Abhishek Manu Singhvi began.
I want to maintain a level of debate.
Abhishek Manu Singhvi began the debate today by making an observation about you, Ravi Shankar Prasad. And Abhishek Manu Singhvi said, without naming you, of course, since I think you are good friends, he didn't name you, but he said it is better if political leaders learn not to say anything in the immediate aftermath of a terror attack. Sir, Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office, Dr. Singhvi V. Narayan Swamy, immediately after the Maoist terror attack on convoy of Congress leaders in Bastar in April, said, it is purely the failure of the Chhattisgarh government, of the BJP, in not protecting the Congress leaders in spite of getting prior information. How different is that?
Can I respond, Arnab?
One more of your leaders. Shakil Ahmed said. Shakil Ahmed said, the BJP government cannot escape responsibility because it did not provide security deliberately to a main opposition party for a previously announced program. How different is that from what Ravi Shankar Prasad
very quickly,
said?
Arnab, let me be very categorical in replying to you. First of all, I stand by my statement because I said we should all collectively try to create a new political idiom. And if anybody, and I repeat, it is not meant for the media, not for the BJP, not for the Congress, anybody violates that in the immediate aftermath, we should restrain ourselves. That applies as much to Ravi Shankar Prasad, as to Narayan Swamy, as to somebody else. And let me repeat that quite clearly.